Welcome to the Monday morning flavor. This marketplace is absolutely wild. I know you probably heard about Palantir and the NVIDIA relationship. You've got BlackRock dumping quite a bit of crypto, both Bitcoin and Ethereum contracts, but it's not BlackRock. You do understand that. It's not BlackRock. I mean, the stock market is just singing right now. What is going on with this marketplace? It is absolutely wild. They are really going in for it right now. It's 2 o'clock, man. I don't understand what is going on right now. The market is actually pumping. We got some very interesting news. Hold on, let's just get with the program. What is going on? Something has just gone into play right now. There's no real news just coming out just yet. It just could be the start of the market. I'm just jumping straight into it, ladies and gentlemen. NASDAQ is just behaving pretty crazy right now. No real news has come out just yet. We've got, obviously, the ISM manufacturing index coming out at 3 p.m. UK time, but looking at the way NASDAQ's behaving right now, she's doing quite a significant move to the upside. Oh, my days. What is going on with this marketplace, ladies and gentlemen? Well, I'm not seeing anything right now, but it could be down to this story right here. Maybe not this one. Let's just go to this one. That's it. Fed has now pumped $29.4 billion into the U.S. banking system. Now, everyone's like, yeah, man, that's it. That's it. We've got it. That's it. The bull run's about to begin. In principle, look, this is showing us that the Fed has been too restrictive with its policies, and that's something that we really need to take into consideration. It's actually drained the liquidity in the marketplace, so they've decided to pump some more into it. Happy days. But it is a little bit inflationary as well, so we're going to have that problem. Now, let's just get with the bigger picture of what's going on. Here we go. Amazon inks a $38 billion deal with OpenAI to supply NVIDIA chips. What do you want me to say to you? Let's go over to Amazon QuickTime. Let's go over to Amazon QuickTime to see if they're able. Let's see if we get any gap ups in that sense. Hold on a second. Here we go. Where are we? Amazon. Gapping up at the open, ladies and gentlemen. Still claiming all-time highs, going up. I mean, it's got a gap, and then you've got another gap. That is absolutely wild. And the idea is, guys, that the stock market itself, you just see here, it goes on to say that there is literally overvaluation happening across the board, but the market does not care. Where is the article? Here we go. The rally in equities is continuing as markets brush aside concerns over stretched valuations. I mean, it's the start of the new month, ladies and gentlemen. November naturally is a good time. Everything's pumping up. Happy days. I mean, you can't predict when they're going to declare out any deals that are coming into play, but you can see OpenAI seems to be just getting involved in absolutely everything until it gets to the point where they expect it to do it. But we're talking about big money here. That's return on investors. Okay, they see that the future is showing that the return on investing in a stock company like Amazon is going to be there because they're investing in something. That means there's going to be a return for it. Now, Meta hasn't really done the great job right now of investing in AI, given that it's actually gapping up a little bit at the open, but it did gap down quite significantly on its news announcements, on its earnings. So we got ourselves a little bit of a problem. But guys, in cryptocurrency, be mindful. This is a free earnings calendar. You've got this earnings call on Cypher Mining. Now, we know what Cypher Mining is about. We have been paying attention to Cypher Mining. Let's just quickly have a look at that. Going into Cypher Mining, here we go. Their earnings are due right now. They are up 20.7%, ladies and gentlemen. 20.75% pre-market. Look at that. That is absolutely wild. So they've obviously done very well on their earnings per share. Let's quickly go and have a look. This is a Cypher Mining. We've been talking about this. Yeah, they're going in. Big volumes coming into play. Volume is up roughly around 21%. No. It hasn't told us just yet. I've got to wait for the market to open up with that. But that's obviously great news for cryptocurrency-based stocks as well. Just quickly going over into other companies just to put it into perspective. Circle, see what Circle's saying. Circle isn't not really doing anything in the pre-markets just yet, guys. Not really getting any data. But again, here we go. It's currently down 0.14%, but that's nothing to be concerned about. Nothing crazy going off with Circle just yet. But just quickly going over into our love of Bitcoin. So what's Bitcoin been doing? Well, this is the story right now. BlackRock has effectively been offloading Bitcoin, okay? And it's not BlackRock, it's the clients, okay? Now, why are they offloading? I mean, isn't it a bit depressing to witness Bitcoin going down and then you've got the stock market going up. I mean, isn't that a little bit of a pain in the ass to witness? What's going on, guys, is Bitcoin is becoming too much of a risk-on asset in the sense where it's too risky. So participants are like, you know what, let's just get out of Bitcoin and start going over to where the money is being planted. And that is evident when we're talking about AI. That's where the money's going. Is everything overextended? Most definitely. But you're not in an environment where the market in principle is reacting technically. Look what's just happened. Amazon is now sinking money into OpenAI. So they're putting money into work. That means value on the shares are going to be better in the future. Earnings per share are going to be increasing. Quarterly earnings sales, that's going to be increasing. Okay? There is nothing technical about the markets. It's all sentiment. All right? And this is what's fueling. You've got the fundamentals because companies are actually doing good business. So how are we going to go into this big crash? Everyone's expecting a crash. Well, let's just put it into perspective. Go and have a look at the NASDAQ volume for a split second, right? Does this chart look like it's going to crash? The volume is present. You've got no divergences. No, price isn't rising and there's no volume backing it. Okay? It's all there. So with the Fed cutting the interest rates, with the Fed injecting liquidity into the marketplace, we could get a little bit of a reset. That could be down to this bad boy over here. Japan. They've got to pay bloody attention. Look at this. This is going to impact Bitcoin. That's why I said Bitcoin could be the asset that shows us where risk is really, where it's really at. Okay? Japan always tend to buy ton load of dollars if dollar yen is trading high, right? You can see here that when it gets to around 150, they intervene. Gets to about 150, yeah, up here we got a little purchase, roughly around the 155-ish, all right, up there. And then up here, they're usually intervening. Have a look at this. Dollar yen is at 154. They've been priming the idea of a rate hike in Japan. So they've got a big story here. Are they going to hike their interest rates or are they going to buy a load of dollars? Because I would prefer that they buy a lot of dollars because then that will naturally bring the dollar dominance down, but it won't hurt equities. If they unwind on the carry trade, they will then force to be unwinding and selling stock because interest rates on the yen have gone up. And those who have borrowed at 0.5% are now going to have to pay a higher rate of return at 0.75 if they hike the rates. That means it's going to cost participants money, so they're going to have to pull it. That means selling dollars, selling stock, then getting the dollars, getting rid of those dollars, and going over into yen because the value of the yen is increasing on the appreciation of their interest rates. So it's naturally going to encourage what? Yield. Why is Warren Buffett sat on $380 billion worth of cash and he's been buying up Japanese stocks? Anyways, don't worry about that. But just be very mindful and watch out USD JPY. Dollar dominance. Said to you, don't sleep on it. It's going up. And we're getting close towards appreciation of the dollar. When the dollar gets above 100, that is where I expect, in my opinion, because the stock market and the Forex markets are based on the perception of value. Okay? You can give me all your theoretical stuff, like your earnings per share and all that stuff. But if someone says to you, yo, you seen Nvidia? Yo, have you seen Amazon? Did you hear about? That's the perception of value. Yeah, man, that thing's going to keep on going up. There it is right there. Dollar dominance, in my opinion, will go over above 100, okay? It will appreciate. What a better time to start getting rid of stock when your dollars at least can do something. Getting rid of stock right now, or when dollar was all the way down at 97, was no good, okay? But now you've got Bitcoin truly representing what the dollar is about. Dollar's going up, Bitcoin is going down, okay? In the bigger picture of things, okay? Forget what it's doing now. This is a small move, all right? It's going down, right? Once the dollar then goes to an appreciation, that's when I think investors will then start to come out of the stock market and start getting the dollars, pile into the US bond market, lock in some yields because the interest rates are going to be coming lower, all right? I mean, today we've got the ISM. What's the ISM going to turn around and say? Well, a lot of people are going to be talking about this M2 money supply, which a lot of you asked me, Tina, what about the M2 money supply? Okay, look, it's right in front of you. The M2 money supply is a representation of the potential purchasing power. Potential. When you marry it up to the ISM Purchasing Managers Index, what is that? Well, the Purchasing Managers Index, which is what you're getting today, is a reading that tells us, as a leading indicator of economic health, where 300 purchasing managers think they are in the companies that they're working for. So, for example, it asks them, what's the relative level of business conditions, employment, production, new orders, price, supply, deliveries, and inventories? When they give out a view on that, it gives us a reading. As it stands, the market's expecting 49.4 as a reading. A reading below 50 is contraction. A reading above 50 is expansion. So if we see that the manufacturing PMI is contracting, even though your M2 money supply is up, purchasing managers are doing nothing with the cash because they're probably retaining it. They don't want to spend too much, right? They think that probably in the future it's not going to be looking great. Where are we with interest rates? Well, ladies and gentlemen, 69.3, it's gone up a little bit. Bets on the 3.754% region, and we still don't know. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, it's the start of a new month. We should be getting non-farm payrolls, and we ain't getting anything like that. US government shutdown, the longest it's ever been, and it doesn't look like they're going to be opening up anytime soon. Okay? That's really important, but here's something for you. Market makers have been misbehaving themselves. Look at this. They are front-running the markets. Basically, market makers' obligation to their clients is to make sure that they get their orders filled. What this is talking about is market makers don't give a damn. They're just getting their orders filled only, and they don't care about anybody else. Pre-hedge, it's brilliant. I think it's great. Good old market makers. The fuckery is right there, ladies and gentlemen. Check it out. Go read up about this. This is actually wild what they're actually doing, okay? Which does explain what's going on right now. Look what's happening in this world, right? In the marketplace. Every theoretical assumption about the market is out the window. It really is. Overvaluation. Are you mad? If we're overvaluation and historically November's a great month, we still got another, what? Technically, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so we've got 6 days of positive gains to clock in before we get a negative reading. But, ladies and gentlemen, it is absolutely wild to say the least. But, of course, Bitcoin. What do we know? All right, then. So, quickly breaking it down. Bitcoin in the Asian session last night took a bit of a tumble. Psychological levels have been formed. So if you are new, go over to the Traders Reality website. There is a course on that where I dive deep into helping understand what these levels are all about. In the weekly review that I did for the Platinum members this week, I did a breakdown of the importance of the Asian session range with the whiteboard. So it was a good session. I think it was a good session. I covered quite a bit inside of that. But you want that? Go check that out. It's on the Traders Reality website. It's pinned to the top of the chat if you want to get access to that. Okay? Now, Bitcoin. What do we know? Open interest. We've got this story here, right? That there are participants with the expectation that Bitcoin's going lower. And there is a possibility that Bitcoin could succeed the 100K zone. I mean, with this offloading right now of BlackRock and the ETF itself, it's gone from 806,000 down to 801,000, okay? But you're still at 801,000. I believe people are just transitioning from cryptocurrency going into the stock market. Your ETF isn't really doing that much. It's going down. And then, of course, stock markets, tech markets, they're all sailing to the upside. All right. So investors are naturally like, let me just get out of this BS and then just put my money to work. Only over an hour ago, they put in quite a bit of Bitcoin into Coinbase, and we've sold around 15,000 Ethereum right there. Binance has been dumping the life out of Bitcoin and Ethereum. Yeah, there's all sorts of manipulation happening over there. But again, you just got to take it for what it is, ladies and gents. Bitcoin moves up and down very aggressively. So even if it were to succeed the 100,000, which in my opinion, I do believe Bitcoin is going to go to 100,000 because it's the only next logical spot for Bitcoin to end up. It is. It's some of you might not like it. Some of you might like it. Going into the order flow itself, here we go. Big transactions. 400 Bitcoin moved to Bybit wallet. 400 Bitcoin then moved to an unknown wallet. From OKEx wallet to unknown wallet. That's all right. And then we've got an unknown wallet to an unknown wallet. Okay, that's cool. 252. There's quite a bit of Bitcoin. Like 252 Bitcoin moved to Binance wallet. Okay, so let's just look at the order flow. You can see that we've got quite a few bids. $63 million worth of bids. They took it, ladies and gentlemen. They hit that liquidity. If you watched the video that I did just before the weekend, yeah, man, look at that. That guy is very happy, which means that if he's going to try and capitalize on making a little bit of a return on Bitcoin, any retraces back up will be welcome to see if he's going to sell it. Let's see if he's placed his order back into it. Right, this is what you got to be mindful of. Even though that is a $63 million order, you can see a $21 million order there. And then another $21 million order there, 21,096,000. And then we've got anything else above that point? We don't really have anything else. And then you got $33 million up there. So what I'm trying to say to you is this. If we make the assumption that that player right there is going to be selling his Bitcoin as it goes up, then I don't know if he's going to be selling it in that one transaction, because what you've got to understand is if he's buying at $63 million worth of Bitcoin at 106,822, that means he's probably going to be selling if it does move up from the level he purchased from. All right? Because if there is an expectation that everything's going to come down, I mean, you got orders down here, you got 1 million down there. I mean, you got a cluster of orders all the way down here. Like these guys, they mean business down here. And that puts us down the sub 96, 97. Do you think it could actually go to 96,000? I mean, how many of you would be happy with that? Here we go. But when these institutions borrow, they are not in fixed term, loan term form. So the impact is priced in beforehand as they approach their end of term of borrowing costs. Principally, yes, but it's about the unwind. They can't just get rid of everything straight away. They can't. It has to be over a period of time if that's what you're talking about, my friend. Imminent BlackRock ETF, XRP ETF. It's always a matter of time. Oh, God. I'm not interested in the ETF for XRP. I'm really not. I'm no genius, but that sounds like a top. Here we go. That's it. Questions. Come on, give me something. Even though Bitcoin is crashing, please still do Bitcoin TA so we can make a trade. Some of us cannot trade stocks. Canadian living in Indonesia. We have no choice other than to trade Bitcoin futures. What I'm giving you in principle, ladies and gentlemen, is an understanding of what's going on. All right. You have got the stock market being fueled by movement on deals that are coming into play. But it's clear as day that no one is putting their money to work in Bitcoin. Now, there are a lot of people out there saying, hold on, don't sell, don't sell, don't sell. Look, you're going into an easing cycle. Everything is going to go up. But can you absorb the pullback beforehand? You know, can you absorb that? If you can absorb that, cool, don't sell. Hold on to your positions. All right? Only act when you see a big move in Bitcoin. So if you want to buy Bitcoin, act when you see it drop aggressively, because you're going against the trend. You're going against the herd. Everyone's selling. Oh my God, Bitcoin. Well, that's where you want to start buying, because you're aligning yourself with participants who buy when prices drop. Ask yourself the question. This dude that bought $63 million or $75 million worth of Bitcoin at 107,500, right? He's obviously got $75 million for a reason. And that's not because he's buying when Bitcoin's rising. He's buying it when it's dropping. And that's something you've got to really put into perspective, ladies and gentlemen. You know? Strategy just announced 10.5% dividends to investors. So, yeah, it's coming down and Saylor's going to buy. Well, there you go. He's paying dividends to the investors, but the investors are going to get a nice retribution and a redemption fee if they try to get rid of the stock. And the stock is way below the actual convertible bond dividend price that they offered out, you know? Here we go. Tino, you said that fast move is the false move. Correct. Then does that mean slow move is the true move? Slow trend is the true trend? Correct. Does it require vector candles to solidify a false move? Yes, you require vector candles to solidify a move up and the vector candles to solidify a move down. The one takeaway that I've got for all of you that can help you understand whether or not price is trying to engineer a fast move to the upside, to the downside, to make it a false move, or a slow move is the slow trend is the true trend, okay? How do you verify it? Speed. I know you all look at the charts, all right? And you're paying attention to how the candlestick's behaving. Look at how slow Bitcoin moves. Let's be honest now. Drop down onto, go to the hour time frame. What are you witnessing? It's slow. It's doing nothing. It's paused, all right? It's even doing, Bitcoin is actually, XRP is outperforming Bitcoin with the boredom of movement. It's not doing anything, right? That's a clue. When you see price moving at speed, and that's when you say, all right, okay, something's happening. And that could be in the move up or down. Focus on the speed of movement. How fast does price move within the hour? How wide of a range does it cover? How long does it spend at the highs of the candlestick in comparison to the lows of the candlestick? Okay? Don't just look at the candlestick, study it. Focus on its behavior. Because inside of this candlestick here, this is the S&P, okay? Right? So let's just look at the S&P just for a split second, right? That's the S&P on the 1 hour time frame. This is the order flow for the S&P, all right? It's the depth of market. And you can see that obviously, I think the S&P is a really bad example because it doesn't really move too fast, but it's faster than Bitcoin, okay? Look at how many times price is changing hands. That's a green vector candle right now, okay? We just had great news. It's trading at the value area high of the day. It's at the highest point of the day in terms of expensive. It's at a premium right now, okay? And the orders aren't there. Well, a minute ago, you just had some great news. Okay, cool. You started moving up, moving up. Now you've stopped. Well, why are you stopping? I need to see more proof that this could be a false move, or it could be the start of a continued move, because they have been going up since Asia, okay? So then I say to myself, well, how fast is price moving? And it's not. So then what I need to do now is wait until price starts moving fast, which is going to be in about 10 minutes time. When price starts to move pretty fast, then I'm getting information. Look at the direction that it's moving towards, okay? Which is then going to help you understand whether or not the move to the upside is going to be false or it's going to be true, okay? So when you see the candlestick making this big move to the upside, by the logic of the hybrid system in relation to your question, you would expect a recovery to come into play. They did it here. They marked up, then they came down. So obviously the candlestick slowed down, then the movement slowed down, then they recovered it. What they've done here is they've marked up and then they've pumped it. They've moved away from it. They did it pretty quick. So in an hour's candle that's only been open 20 minutes, it's already moved up 6896 and it's shot all the way up to clear out the 6907 region, okay? So about nearly the best part of 8986, about 35, 40, 50 ticks or something like that, okay? So it's covered a lot of ground at speed. That's a clue for me. That tells me maybe price is going to be primed to continue higher. I look at the environment and I say, okay, I've got a wick over there. Strong chance it could actually go up towards that point, okay? So then I say, okay, well, I need to see the candlestick moving faster. And that means moving faster means transactions are happening. But when it moves up and then it stops and it doesn't really move as fast, that can give me a clue that the false move could be getting engineered to then prepare price to come back down. All right? That's why when you trade Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen, I can't stress it enough. With Bitcoin itself, focus on how fast the candlestick moves. I'm not asking you to sit there with a timer, but ask yourself, how long has Bitcoin been in this price range for the last 10 minutes, 15 minutes? If you're looking at an hour candle, ask yourself, how much ground has it gained in that time? Flip, what's going on with my speech? Ask yourself that question. Because if you're looking to buy Bitcoin and buy it from this range, to assume the idea is going to make a move to the upside, well, you want to see them spend very little time here. And the only way that you can identify that, you use the hybrid system and you're looking for green and blue vector candles coming into play. Well, at the current price point right now, do we see Bitcoin forming green and blue vectors? We don't. We don't see anything just yet. So sit back, wait. You got vectors down here that could be a problem for Bitcoin. So Bitcoin could start rolling into those ranges. If Bitcoin rolls into those ranges, you're stuck with the criteria that I'm not going to do anything until I see a blue or a green vector candle, because a blue and green vector candle tells me that something is changing in a comparison to what it's been doing. Because if it's been going down and down and down, you're not seeing green and blue vectors, all right? And you're asking yourself, should I go long? Should I go long? It's going down, it's going down, it's going down. Well, after it's gone down, then look to see if it's going to try and come up. Then you can step in and start buying Bitcoin on the recovery back up, because it's after a move to the downside. So if you look at it from this perspective, look, it's been going down, going down, going down, going down, going down. Then all of a sudden, this green vector candle appears here, okay? And from that point, after they had swept the liquidity in this range, they then thought, let's start working our way up. These are areas that you start buying. Look at your environment. What's it been doing? What illusion has it been giving the retail trader? Go short, go short, go short. 100K, here we come. 62,000, here we come. 41,000, here we go. Where the fuck do they get these price points? It doesn't make sense to me. Bitcoin is only going to be the price that someone is prepared to buy it at and sell it at. All right? Forget what price points it could be. Do I think it could take 100K? Most definitely. Why? Well, I just break it all down. Here we go. What's going on at 100K? Well, we've got liquidity down here. I would assume that there's interest down there. So that takes us to 101,000. All right? If we reverse from that point and I wanted 100K, all right, cool. A $1,900 difference. So what? We're at 107. If it drops down 6K and hits 101, all right, then I'll take that. And it doesn't hit 100K, you're full of shit. Forget that. Having an opinion on price is irrelevant. All right? But having an opinion on how it gets to a point, well, that's where you can actually start investigating whether that could be the case or not. You look at open interest and you say, okay, what's going on? Well, a lot of people have been running shorts from here. So the expectation is price is going to go lower. Okay? And then we've got the ETF selling off. Okay? So they've been getting rid of the ETF, not BlackRock. BlackRock's clients. BlackRock's the agent that does it on their behalf. Right? BlackRock doesn't care about your Bitcoin. It cares about how much it charges you for holding the ETF, for buying the ETF, and selling the ETF. Just remember that. Just remember that, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Cool. Yes, Rikesh, I'm of the belief that Bitcoin is more speculative than it is a strategy. All right? Strategy, as in MicroStrategy, they have to sell the idea that it is the asset of the future. And you know what? It is, okay? Let's be honest now. But these speculative moves up and down, right? Once Bitcoin starts to get used, I'm telling you, when they start incorporating Bitcoin into treasuries, which is what they're doing, but not any big players are really doing it, all right? Why ain't BlackRock putting Bitcoin into its treasury? Why isn't it? Remember, this is not BlackRock. BlackRock doesn't hold this Bitcoin. No, it's an agent. It purchases it on behalf of. All right. So BlackRock's doing nothing. They actually hold about $10 million worth of Bitcoin. I've said this before. They use the stationary fund change that they spend on their offices worldwide to buy the Bitcoin. We got 10 million here. Oh, what? So we saved on printers? Yeah, man. And pencils. Really? Yeah. I'll go and get a little bit of Bitcoin then, man. All right, cool. Let's get some Bitcoin. Ain't that a bit of a violation? BlackRock are smart, man. They think, let's set up a service where we can earn off the fees and the hype of this asset. And it doesn't matter if it goes up or down. We'll use our name and front run it and be like, look, BlackRock's holding the ETF. Oh, buy it because they're buying. Shut up. BlackRock do not buy it. They don't do anything. It's the transfer agent. They're the guys that buy it. These are APs. BlackRock is an AP. It's an authorized participant of. All right, BlackRock says, I got a client here. We want to buy some Bitcoin for them. They want $10 million worth of Bitcoin ETF. Okay, cool. So, all right, what do they want? Oh, we want that amount. Okay, cool. Well, we'll give you the cash. You go and get the Bitcoin, store it in that vault. Okay, cool. And they can use our name. You can use our name and we can advertise it. Plus, we'll earn off the fees. That's a violation for me, ladies and gentlemen. I think that is the piss take on Bitcoin. Tino, you're trading gold. No. We're not trading gold. Today, we are going to be trading the NASDAQ. That's what I want to trade today. NASDAQ trading at not all-time highs, but at value area highs today. So it's going to be a very interesting start to the morning. But if it does move the way I want it to move, then I will trade it. If it doesn't, I've got to wait for NASDAQ to really make a significant move, ladies and gentlemen. I have to wait for it. I do have to wait for it because it's not really giving me anything just yet. It's making a move up, but I've got these vectors here and that's a problem for me. So I'm waiting for it to mark higher and I need it to go higher for me to be content with the idea of looking for a reversal. But that's something that if I don't see that today, I don't see that today. It doesn't matter for me because we've got news announcements coming out very, very soon. Market's about to open up, ladies and gentlemen. So that's going to be an interesting one to put into perspective. Just quickly going over into NVIDIA for a second. It is gapping up at the open. That's going to be relevant. So let's just see how the market is going to behave very shortly. I'm just going to bring it up for you just so you guys can get an insight into the madness that unfolds. Here we go. So this is NASDAQ on the 30-minute time frame with the depth of market. Just having a look at where we are. So you just got to be very cautious with it. And I always like to see this because at the start of the market, you will then see an injection. And over time, if you sit and watch this, you can see an injection of orders coming in, which usually tells you what the next hour or so could be like. So just watch very carefully what happens. The red stuff is the tails, momentum tails. The blue stuff is the blue momentum tails. So just watch how the market behaves in the next 30 seconds or so when they open up. Here we go. 5 seconds. Sorry, 5 seconds. Here we go. Just watch this. There you go. See, that was a big push there. Okay, so offers out. They are offering out. Okay, guys are offering price higher. So we can assume it's going to go higher. Okay, when you see that, you can then trade that logic. But remember, we've been going up all morning from the daily open. That is really good news. Okay, then you just had this news regarding Amazon, so that's going to be even more good news. So orders are going to be coming in to sell. Okay, that means to mark up higher, to sell and hit those offers. If you look at the offers at the top side here on this red side, you'll then start to notice that there could be some players that are trying to sell at higher prices. Okay, if it's already been done and they've exhausted that, then we'll start seeing bids to the downside, which is why you should never trade the open fully. You've got to get information about what the participants are doing, because right now there's been a massive queue of orders all waiting like as if they're getting ready on a roller coaster. All right. And the second they're they're able to get onto the roller coaster, they're all going to rush in and try and find their seat. Each of these little spaces is a seat, and that seat is going to have someone who's selling at 50, 60, 70, whatever. Okay. You've got to wait for them to all get sat in this roller coaster. And it can shoot up, it can shoot down. It's a bit of a tricky range, but it seems like they're sticking to the narrative of what they've been doing. But again, this is where I start paying attention to the idea of the fast move is the false move. It hasn't stopped. But we're not dealing with the markets technically. It's sentiment. You just had some awesome news about Amazon. So it's either going to be sell the news event, buy the rumor, sell the news. Okay? And if it is the sell the news, it's going to get ready and slump. That's what you got to wait for. The market is open 1 minute, right? I've got plenty of time to get a profile on what they could be doing because they have to engineer the liquidity. They have to prepare it. It's not going to be like, oh my God, don't go short because I'm going to miss out on a move to the downside. No, they're not going to make it look so easy for you. If a trade looks so easy, you're more than likely in the wrong side of the move, okay? And it's getting ready to go against you. So just take that into consideration, ladies and gentlemen. Just looking at Bitcoin. I mean, that is just a violation. It really is. Bitcoin. Now look at Bitcoin speeding up, starting to move at speed. And the problem is when NASDAQ's going up and Bitcoin's going down, if NASDAQ makes its point and then starts to pull back, Bitcoin doesn't just go down. It just says no. And then it just goes lower. All right. Very interesting the way Bitcoin's moving. Tina, if you're not interested in XRP ETFs, what is it about XRP that rattles you? We're here to make money. I can't imagine you've sold your... Listen, man, don't take what I say. I'm giving it away now, but don't take what I say about XRP seriously. All right? I'm sharing the grind. I'm sharing the fact that, we're holding a stupid asset. But I know there's people that are like, no, that's my asset, man. That's my asset. Look, it's my asset too. But it's interesting, Tino, do you think that the top is in for Bitcoin, or will we see transition from stocks to crypto by the end of the year before the 4-year cycle ends? How many of you really believe that the 4-year cycle is still intact? Be honest now. How many of you actually believe that? What is your definition of an altcoin run? An altcoin run. You had it, ladies and gentlemen. There it is. B&B, man. And then, of course, this absolute nut job. You've got different things happening and they're not being represented across the board. Like, what is going on here? What is an altcoin run? I mean, everyone's asking the questions. Let's just have a look at the totals chart where we are with the altcoins. That's a violation. That means there's going to be some more movement on altcoins. we're probably going to go down to about 832 billion on altcoins. We'll lose 100 billion in altcoins value very soon. That's the sad truth about it, unless something significant happens to grant the idea of it. But come on, guys. They've been marking up with your altcoins, okay? And the problem is where has the distribution of market cap gone into? What if it's all been going into specific altcoins? People make the mistake of thinking that if the altcoin season's in, every single altcoin is going to go up, but that's not what happened. All right, you had BNB going up. You had Solana making some mad moves, and Solana was only making its movement up based off what was going on in terms of the meme coin market. Now you've got the Solana ETF coming into play. Okay, so that's going to be naturally grabbing investors, but Solana is its own ecosystem as such. So those with the Solana are going to be down for the Solana, you know? But for me, ladies and gentlemen, if you are holding altcoins, okay, and looking at the way they are behaving with the marketplace itself, if Bitcoin does continue to mark itself lower, everything else is going to mark lower because you're trading sentiment. People are looking at Bitcoin as too much of a risk right now. It's sentiment. Where is everyone? They're in the stock market, man. That's where they are. So just take that into consideration when you're trading it, ladies and gents. In my opinion, I do expect Bitcoin to continue to the downside off the back of the idea that the dollar dominance is going to keep on sailing upwards. It's going to keep marking higher till we get to 100. Once we're at 100%, well, 100, any appreciation above that is going to then trigger investors, whether it's 1%, 2%, 3%. We get above 105, ladies and gentlemen, that's when you're going to start seeing some significant market movements. Because investors are like, whoa, I've got 5% on my dollar right now. I better start selling my stock and earn myself a bit of dollar, because before I wasn't earning anything, which is why everything was going up, because the value of your dollar was dead. So you were putting it into the stock market to generate a better return. That's where we are with it all. Well, NASDAQ seems to be doing something interesting. Anyways, with that being said, Bitcoin is the main price. Alts are the side piece. You may never marry one. You go where the action is. How cool is that? That is exactly what it is. Tino, why are you holding XRP? It's a stupid asset like you. You deleted it. You deleted. Mr. T is frustrated with XRP like the rest of us. What's the deal with Bitcoin if you're only trading it like everything else? If you're holding, just park it. It's true. Tino, why is holding XRP a stupid asset like you just said? Why is holding XRP, why is it a stupid asset? Just like you said. I mean... how can an asset be the same price after significant economic events? Doesn't that make you question? I mean, let's just put it into perspective. Hold on a second. This is the XRP formation. I mean, do I have a point? Tell me I've got a point to be pissed off with this asset. Look at that. One candlestick in January 20. That's your bull run in XRP. And that's a 4-month candle. That is shocking. Compare it. I mean, look at that. You've got activity, haven't you? But Dogecoin gave us flavor. ETH, look at that. Brilliant. BNB, look at that. Brilliant. So, awesome. I don't understand why I get angry with this asset. Anyways, I'm starting to get wound up by it. Anyways, this is the 4-month candle is starting to actually turn negative, guys. It's not really good. Not good. 4-month candle turning negative. We've got ourselves a bit of an issue. 6-month candle is just about to turn negative. Very shortly, we've got 107.254 is the price of the 6-month candle, okay? And they've swept up that liquidity and came straight back down again. That's a bit of an issue, okay? 7-month candle is trading negative from the previous month. 7-month candle open. The 8-month candle is now turning negative, trading a little bit lower. 9-month candle is going into play with a very, very interesting close open on that 9-month candle. 12-month is losing the previous month's high, okay? So we've just got to be careful, guys. Don't worry. Your Bitcoin will be cheaper and it will be expensive again, all right? Cool. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, other than that, do you foresee Circle filling the daily gap between 96.83? Something will have to really happen that's negative in the overall markets to really suggest that it's going to do that. But you've got to remember, there are gaps in stocks that have not been filled straight away. Okay, and they've taken forever to fill them as well. Let's just take NVIDIA, for example. Okay, you have got pretty much, you have got this gap down here, 123. Okay, and I'm not sure if it's been actually filled yet. It was 123. 123 gap, somewhere there. Okay. Just because there's a gap doesn't mean it has to be recovered now, okay? Like the CME gap with Bitcoin. If I'm correct, there's a gap on Bitcoin. Where's your gap? Where's your gap? I believe there is a gap somewhere. Okay. I'm correct. That would be that logic there. Take it into it. There's your gap down there. That hasn't been touched yet, but price is slowly going there. All right. So if it gets down to about 98, then okay, we can assume it's going to go to that point. All right. But if it's all the way up here, you're not really going to pay attention to it, are you? It needs to be getting closer towards it. Right. How do you expect silver to move? Consolidate around all-time high and then move higher? What's your targets? $50-ish? Look, the gold, listen, gold and silver story, okay, is all based on the interest rates. That's all it is. Any expectation that the interest rates are going to be cut, then gold and silver will naturally go higher. Any expectation of recession, any expectation of banks defaulting on their loans, that's going to send gold and silver higher because investors are going to need to go into safety in commodities. Safe haven status has been kind of put on the back foot right now because of what's going on in the stock market. All right. With the expectation that the Fed's somewhat a little bit hawkish, today's data that comes out at 3 p.m. is probably going to lead us to believe that maybe the Fed does need to cut interest rates because there's economic contraction happening. But if the ISM manufacturing data comes in and it's going above 50, ladies and gentlemen, we have no reason to cut the interest rates because the economy is sustaining itself. So then that parks the idea of interest rate cuts going in December. That then makes gold go down and silver to go down. All right. Cool. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed today's live stream. Check the TV out, do the action, and I'll be tuning into you all later on. Please trade safely, guys. Peace.